This is a really cool earth tone piece of stone coat countertops. We're going to show you how to do this. This is a sample that we made, and we're going to show you from start to finish how to mimic this look. This product can be put over your old Formica or even made with brand new countertops. Stay tuned. We'll show you the recipe of how to reproduce this amazing look in your own home, doing it yourself. Stay tuned, stonecoatcountertops.com.
Alright, so we are going to start out with our base. It's just actually more of an almond color. It's kind of almost the color of the MDF, but we wanted to make sure that was sealed. And then we also fogged it with a black just on top, just to give it some depth and some character when we're using the rest of the different products we're going to use. So we're going to start out with the clear stone coat epoxy, and we're going to make sure that we put it all over the place so it gets all over the piece that we're using. In this particular case, we're just making a small sample board. So we make sure that we go all and cover all the edges. This is not very hard. It does take a little bit of practice. So if you're going to do a countertop, make sure that you start out with some sample boards, just so you can get used to the product. Make sure that you don't skimp on your coat, so that way everything that you have put on there afterwards flows really nice. If you notice that you're scratching, you probably don't have enough material on. I didn't at that time, so you can learn from me and not make my mistakes. So make sure you get all over the edges. Trowel it till it's about right, and then you're going to go ahead and use your when you set your trowel down, make sure that you put it with your teeth facing up. That's something that we don't usually tell you about, is really important. So then you're going to take a brush. We've been doing sample boards, so we have one sitting here. You make sure to prime your brush in your in that Part A, Part B stone coat epoxy. Make sure you get all of your edges so that when you're applying your colors to the top, that it can flow down and make it all the way around. It's a little bit harder to see on that side because you're needing to see, and so we're just going to do the best we can. Now in this particular piece, I'm going to use a lot of brown colors. I want to kind of keep it more of a neutral piece, but I want to add a lot of character to it. So I'm going to be doing that by adding initially a lot of plain brown colors in the spray paint, and then we're going to go and use our spray metallic powders. We're going to add the metallic powders to our spray with the alcohol, and we're going to add that for our customization. So let's go ahead and start with that. One of my very favorite colors is Satin Black Walnut. It's a 2-in-1 spray paint. I love this color. It isn't quite black, but it definitely gives a lot of depth and character to the pieces. And so I'm going to start out with that, and I'm just going to fog it over the whole piece. I like to give it just that depth. You can see it already looks so much different than it already did, and just really warmed that base up. I'm going to go ahead and take, I have some warm caramel. That will make a little bit lighter, and this will make kind of a little bit nice to just give it in a couple spots. I don't want it to be everywhere, just a little bit different. And you can see it already is coming to life all by itself. You're not having to do very much to make those things just already start popping. It's really a cool product. It makes it really easy. I'm going to take one more brown color. This is called Leather Brown, and we're going to just put it kind of through the middle. I don't love that color so much, but don't worry, I don't have to stress out about it. I can always take one of the colors that I do like a lot and fog it over that. I'm like, ooh, that's a little bit too intense for me. No problem. I'm going to take my Dark Walnut, I'm going to fog it over it again. Look at that. Not quite so bright. And we're going to go ahead. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brown metallic powder. I already have it in my spray bottle. Make sure you always shake that up. And I'm going to take it, I'm going to test it on my side. You know, one of the things that I sometimes forget to do is to make sure that you're testing how it's going to come out of your bottle. And so make sure you do that. Start over on the other, past your piece, and then I'm going to take and break up that piece, that little area that I had of that brown. And I'm going to have that be one part that I'm going to actually use and kind of have a concentrated area. I'm going to take my paint stick and I'm going to grab some of that dark walnut, if I can find it. make sure you have a really good area where you can put all of your stuff, because sometimes as you start working with lots of different colors, it gets a little confusing. I decided to use gloss black instead, no problem. But you can see as I let that sit, you can see what it did to that paint. It just really separated it, made it really pretty. When I apply this gloss black through my paint stick, we're gonna run it through the middle, and you can see it's wanting to kind of run through. Sometimes when I am working with, Mike and I are working together, we will come up with a system for our entire countertops, and he and I will get to work together because we've already established on a sample board what our formula for that whole entire countertop is going to be. In this particular one, I want to keep it very simple but beautiful. So you can see I've already let some of this sit. It doesn't take very long for that to start melding together. It doesn't take all that many different colors, but you can see it's already starting to kind of want to move together and create this really neat flow. I'm gonna, before I add some of my metallic over this, which is going to be one of the last things I'm going to do to granify it, I'm going to take it. I really like this vein and how it looks, but I'm going to hit it with my torch so it can start melding together, because I'm going to add another layer and want to granify on top of it. So I'm going to take that. When you use this material, one of the things in order to get this to flow is you need to warm up the epoxy. In order to do that, you can't just hold your torch in one spot. You'll burn through. But if you go ahead and work it together, you can see slowly as it gets warm, those things work together and they start moving and flowing together. You don't want to hold your flame in one spot, or you're going to come up with a really big mess. If you do that, you can see it just wants to work together. All those things kind of flow out. Really pretty. In nature, not everything is straight, so you always want to just kind of make it move and flow. Black and white are really neat colors to work together. So I really like the way that vein looks. I'm going to leave that alone now. And I know, you're probably tired of hearing that dark walnut, but I really love that color. And so I'm going to take it and I'm going to fog it one more time, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do that. I fog it one more time. When I go back and I use my metallic powders above here, I'm going to shake this up.
What color is that one?
This one is black, and it's actually, I want to make sure it's fogging. So just take an extra second, make sure that what you're doing is going to create that look that you like. And you don't touch it very much, just a little bit. And you can see when you do that from far away, look at that effect that it's going to make. This really pulls that apart. Now the more you put on there, the more it's gonna do that. It's gonna pull it apart. Sometimes you want to let it settle just a second. Make sure that you're liking it. I want to keep this pretty neutral piece. Sometimes we like to add some wild colors to it, and I do enjoy that a lot. But see how this is all kind of in one. My spray bottle didn't want to kind of listen to my words, as you can see. So I don't really love that, but that's no big deal. I can just take my finger and decide, you know what, maybe I want to take this and chop it a little bit and let it lay out itself in its own way. That's no problem. I let that sit for a minute. It'll kind of create its own desire, and that's okay. I can always add on top. I can always add more colors, more dimension, more character. It's no problem. I'm going to leave that other side alone. This side, it can be a little bit different. That's no problem. In nature, not everything stays the same on both sides. That's okay. So, you know, that also gives me an opportunity to add a different kind of color. I think I'm going to add some gray. That's really neutral. Grays and browns are found a lot together. I'm going to go ahead and just fog a little bit of gray on this side here. Maybe a little bit more brown. Can intermix that brown in there a little bit again. We'll take a paint stick and add some caramel to it. One of the other colors that we have over here is our ocean blue, and I love that color. And our metallic powder, and we've added it to one of our spray bottles, and I really love this color a lot. It is really light, but it makes such a huge impact on the countertop. Wherever you put it, it really just brings a really cool effect to what you're doing. And so I like to use that one. I'm trying to find my black, but as you can see, wait, come up and look at this, Mike. You can see what that blue does. Because I had those base colors on there, it already wanted to separate and melt. If you look at the contrast to the other type of vein we did, it is just a different type of effect. And so when you get those on one piece, on a huge countertop, those little nuggets are just amazing. It looks really cool. And so I'm gonna torch that. Oh, you know what? I actually want to put a little bit more. I want to use, here's my dark silver. Let's do a dark silver right here, and I'm going to put that right through this little spot that I went ahead. Make sure you shake everything up. This is our deep silver, and I'm going to go ahead and add that in right here. I'm going to even take a little bit over on this side, and that way it kind of is all together. I'm even going to put it through that middle vein that I had. Add a little bit more of that. You can see it just is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna let that sit for just a second. I don't want it to go too far, but you can see it just created a different way to create that melding and looks together. I really love that together. You can see how that blue just adds a little something extra to this piece. When you're working with alcohol, you might have a fire. Don't worry, it'll be okay. I really like that. Sometimes if you have dimples and you're using some of the metallic powder in the alcohol, you need to be aware that sometimes that can create some divots. I don't mind the divots. I know that when we work with this product, we usually end up doing 2 coats, and I really like, especially in this piece, you can see how it's kind of separated and shown on the underside of the base colors. That's why we do those base colors, is so that it creates that depth. I'm not going to worry about it. There are not very many of them, but I'm going to leave them there, and on our second coat, our clear coat, it will level all that out and we can move forward with that. So if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comment section. We'll get back to you, but you can see how easy this product and so fun to work with. Okay.